Quick tip, and today I want to talk about a quick tip on a backdoor method of getting into the trade for markets that tend to ask for 5 years experience before you can get your foot in the door, which kind of doesn't make sense, does it? You got to start somewhere. Let's get into it. All right, so you're either in school or fresh out of school, you're looking for that first job. Maybe you're using some of the tips that I gave in my other video about applying for your first heating and air job. And you live in a market or an area of the country that maybe has more technicians than others. And because of that, they're a little bit more selective and they want a few years at least of experience before they'll even take your application. This is actually exactly what happened to me. So the method that I'm going to give you, which is very simple, I'm speaking from experience. It's what I actually did to springboard myself into the heating and air trade. So if you're in a situation where contractors will not exactly welcome you into their doors, you may need to start elsewhere. And that secret back door that I was telling you about is maintenance, building maintenance. I don't care if it's apartments, hospitals, hotels, anywhere that has an in-house facility maintenance is going to be a place where you're going to get your foot in the door a lot easier. To those types of places, you're a huge commodity, okay? Usually the biggest downfall, the biggest shortcoming of experienced maintenance personnel is heating and air. Most of them are great light duty service plumbers. They're great with carpentry. Usually they can do trim work, drywall, etc. It's usually the heating and air where they fall short. So for you to be a fresh student out of school or in school looking for your first job, all of a sudden your lack of experience still looks very good and appealing to them somewhere where they may be able to save some money on subbing out that work. And like I said, that's exactly what I did, okay? I had a hard time getting my foot in the door with my first contractor, and I went ahead and got my first job at a hotel. I did hotel maintenance, which included some heating and air. I got my first exposure to equipment. And yeah, I had to unclog toilets too, and I had to do some painting and drywall, etc. And then I went to an apartment complex, and I was there for a few years, and I learned all kinds of different things. But the point is, after a few years of doing that, all of a sudden I went from some guy who was just in school and zero experience to all of a sudden being able to say, look, I'm a student or I'm a recent grad from a trade school, and I also have X amount of years or months maintaining, servicing, and installing 300 water source heat pumps, performed PMs, changed filters, cleaned coils on 500 split systems. You see where I'm getting at this? It's the way that you word it. Yeah, does it mean you're a pro? Absolutely not. But it can be the difference between you saying that you have no experience and having enough for them to at least take you on and give you a shot. Now, what I will say is if you go this route, you need to have some humility and understand, even when you do 2 or 3 years like I did of building maintenance with minimal but some exposure to heating and air equipment, you still don't know jack, and you still need to come into that first role with the total understanding that you're starting from the bottom. The whole point of doing this is to get your foot in the door. It is not going to make you an expert. That's why we have heating and air technicians, and there's a clear distinction between HVAC contractors and a maintenance technician. This is merely a loophole, a springboard, a stepping stone, if you will, of getting your foot in the door in areas where it's hard to get that first shot. So don't discount being a maintenance technician for a few years in order to build up a little bit of ability to say you've at least gotten your hands on some equipment and maybe even done a couple jobs. And with that, guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one. And if you're thinking about taking that next step and getting into heating and air school, check out the best RSI at www.refrigerationschool.com. See what they can do for you.